House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Sports betting is a brand new venture for a lot of states and for a lot of people, for that matter. And there's one company out there that's working hard to keep the betting process fair and transparent. And that company is U.S. Integrity. And now U.S. Integrity has teamed up with Ohio University to create a certification program for a sports gambling education curriculum. Coming up, I'm going to be talking with the president and founder of U.S. Integrity, Matthew Holt. We're going to talk all about U.S. Integrity and this incredible partnership they have with Ohio University. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
Money always matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right, money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industry. That's why we say money matters. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
We were being audited. We couldn't sleep. We called Tax Solutions Now.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
You're listening to House of Cards.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. No. 5-1. No. 10-1. You're on.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Sports betting for many states and for most people in this country is a new endeavor. One organization that is determined to keep the sports betting business transparent and fraud-free is U.S. Integrity. And recently, U.S. Integrity has teamed up with Ohio University to create a certification program for a sports gambling education curriculum. And to tell us all about it, we have Matthew Holt, who is the president and founder of U.S. Integrity. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on the show. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. And it's so great to have you on the show. I think we talked off air, and this is the first time U.S. Integrity has been on the show. We mean to get you on, and it's a great time for you to come on. But for those of the people who aren't familiar with U.S. Integrity, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Well, I'll give you the kind of quick 50,000-foot overview. Essentially, we work with regulators, operators, and teams, universities, conferences, leagues, etc., to provide independent, conflict-free, technology and data-driven game integrity, fraud prevention, and compliance-based services. Essentially, what we do is we look for any abnormalities within the wagering market and correlations with those wagering abnormalities with any event abnormalities, whether it be insider information, people divulging locker room information on players' injury or eligibility statuses, potential match fixing or game manipulation by players, monitoring of officials. We do career behavioral patterns on referees, so we go back and extract all of the data we can throughout the history of each official, so we can come up with a career behavioral pattern for that official, so we can determine if they're acting abnormally compared to their own career biases, or if they're just showing the biases that they always have throughout their careers. And then we take all that data and we run it through for red flags and any correlations. And then when needed, we work with the regulators to do investigations on such. And we also work with the leagues on player and referee safety, mental well-being, and education and awareness.
I got to tell you, hearing that, I know what you guys done, but just hearing that, it seems like such a daunting task that you guys have, and it's such an important role in the sports betting business. I mean, what techniques or what devices do you use to go about keeping the sports betting business transparent and fair for everyone who's want to place a bet or who's in the sports betting business?
Yeah, fortunately for us, we have great partners on every side. We work with regulators in states like Pennsylvania and Nevada and Mississippi and Colorado, and we work with some of the best leagues in the NBA and the Pac-12, the Big 12, the SEC, the West Coast Conference, universities like Pittsburgh and Penn State University, and then really great operators, U.S. Bookmaking, Betfred, and so when you combine the fact that, the tools that we use that are really important is we get bet level data from the operators. We're able to see bets actually being placed. Thus, lines move for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people move their lines just because other people in the market are moving their lines. So there's not even any bets taken. So actually being able to see the bets come in, understand what's actually being wagered on an event, who it's, when it's being wagered, why they potentially might be wagering at that time, and then working with the league folks to making sure that, when was information available if there was an injury or a potential suspension. And, at the end of the day, that's the key for us, to gather as much data as we can. And because we don't have the conflicts of some other folks, because we strictly do game integrity and fraud prevention services, the operators are comfortable giving us that betting data. Leagues are comfortable giving us event and statistical data, and regulators across the country are comfortable working directly with us. And at the end of the day, that's what you need to provide the best game integrity services. Is you need the operators, the people actually taking the bets, the regulators, and the league folks all working harmoniously. And I think that's what we've established at U.S. Integrity, and that's our biggest asset.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side. Ever since the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its decision lifting the national ban on sports betting, the gambling landscape of the country is changing on a daily basis. So how do you keep up with all the latest news and developments? How do you know what each state is doing? You go to the one site that has all the information you need to stay ahead of the game, and that site is usbets.com. That's usbets.com. Written by the leading experts in the gambling industry, all you'll need is one visit to usbets.com and you'll see why it's the #1 gambling magazine in the USA. With usbets.com, you'll get up-to-date information on not just the sports betting scene, but also the latest news and notes on the entire gaming industry all across the country. It's not just one state, it's all of them in one spot. Stay in the loop and stay on top of your game. Get the latest news on sports betting and gambling from the country's #1 gambling magazine. Get on over to usbets.com. That's usbets.com. Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get Debt-Free Now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-515-1558. 800-515-1558.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the president and founder of U.S. Integrity, Matthew Holt. You know, it's a strange time right now due to the coronavirus. A lot of the retail sports books are having a downtime with no U.S. sports being played. But, you know, the business of sports betting goes on. But are you just as busy now as if the whole U.S. didn't go on quarantine?
We are. You know, we're fortunate here because we have a state like Colorado who's about to launch May 1. We're helping operators there get established with integrity services, as Colorado has an integrity mandate in their regulations stating that operators need to use an independent third-party provider. The NFL draft betting has been amazing. So there's a lot to do on our end. We just launched a brand new education curriculum in conjunction and partnership with Ohio University. So between that and the Colorado launch and the immense amount of popularity and betting we're seeing on the NFL draft with not much else going on, we're actually pretty busy. And what a non-traditional sport or event like the NFL draft means is that sports books are going to be offering bets that they've never offered before. And, you know, there's an opportunity for them to offer some props that have some wording that makes it impossible or not consumer friendly. So we try to work with the operators to make sure that they're offering all these hundreds of different NFL draft props in a responsible manner. Regulators probably haven't seen this type of prop betting on an event like the NFL draft before, so we're working with regulators to look for what patterns that they should look for. And then, of course, we're working with leagues and teams and individual players to help them understand that because of the significant amount of dollars that are going to be bet on this NFL draft, there's going to be people poking around trying to get that insider information so they could take advantage of it in the betting market. So a lot of education and awareness around the NFL draft betting, a really exciting launch in Colorado coming up May 1, and in early May, the launch of the partnership with Ohio University and U.S. Integrity for the SGE education curriculum. So thankfully, we've been able to stay pretty busy.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the non-traditional sporting aspect of betting, because I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and a lot of the online sports books are offering things I'm not familiar with, like hockey from Belarus or ping pong. Does the fact that they're offering these sports from a different country and these non-traditional sports, does that present a special challenge for U.S. Integrity in monitoring the fairness of the betting process? Or, you know what? One sport is just like another sport, and the same process, you guys use the same process for each sport.
No, each sport certainly is different. We're looking for different triggers in each sport, which could, end up being integrity issues. Some of these lower, to your point, whether it's Belarusian or Turkish soccer or basketball or, Asian ping pong, while they are available on some of the regulated betting apps in the Northeast and here in Nevada, what we're seeing is that there's not actually very much betting handle on them. The American sports betting fan isn't exactly gravitating toward it, and a lot of it is it's hard to watch some of this stuff. We did see some interest in things like the NBA horse tournament, the NBA 2K tournament, which ended up not being offered by any regulated books in the U.S., but mostly by offshore or illicit sports books. But we're just not seeing the handle on those things. And without any betting handle, it's hard to have an integrity issue if there's no wagering. So while those events are being offered, I can tell you that the wagering activity we've seen on some of them are very small. The first event that we've seen significant, real material, significant betting activity on since Corona started is certainly the NFL draft.
You know, I'm curious. I mean, being a gaming attorney myself, I spend most of my time talking to other gaming attorneys and accountants and casino business people. When it comes to U.S. Integrity, who makes up your staff? Are they attorneys or accountants or computer engineers? What kind of disciplines are involved in U.S. Integrity?
Sure. So we kind of have a really good diverse mix of folks here. The large majority of employees are actually data analysts. We need people that are able to grab large amounts of data, sift through it, find those abnormalities, and when they do find abnormalities, identify the ones that really need to be investigated further. And then we have a really strong IT team. Our CTO, Rudy Menendez, has a long-time data background working with sports betting, including working with a company called Sports Data that later became Sport Radar US, which is a very big company. So we have a really solid IT group in terms of being able to handle large sections of betting data and aggregate that data out, parse it out into meaningful reports. And then, myself, I bring a long-time sports betting background. I've spent every day of my post-collegiate career in sports betting. I worked over 7 years at Cantor Gaming, which was at the time the largest licensed sportsbook operator in the United States, the first regulated sportsbook operator to offer betting on a mobile application. And then our COO has a long history in the financial services background and the compliance sector. So we think we bring a really diverse group that has that expertise in sports betting, as well as that expertise in data, as well as an expertise in compliance services.
You know, one of the great things about being in New Jersey is I had the good fortune of going to a lot of the opening of the sports books around the state, and inevitably at these events, after the ribbon is cut, you hear conversations in the back saying, okay, now what do I do? Do I just bet on who I think will win the game and things like that? For people who are new for sports betting, how important is it for them to know that the sports betting business is on the up and up, and how important is it to see the transparency of the sports betting business?
I mean, it's so important. It is so critical. And with the money that is starting to being wagered legally, I mean, the expectation was that there would be $100 to $150 billion wagered legally in the United States in 2020. Now that we missed March Madness, such a keystone wagering event, those numbers are going to be significantly reduced. But I think with Colorado and Washington State and Illinois and Michigan that never really got a chance to get going this year, with a full NFL season under their their bells going into 2021, we can easily project that in 2021 we'll probably see $150 billion to $200 billion wagered legally in the United States, which is starting to approach financial services market. And if you look at how important these things are in the financial services market, I mean, they sent Martha Stewart to jail for insider trading. That shows you how important it is to the marketplace that they take every single aspect of it, be secure, be on the up and up. Sports betting's no different. At the end of the day, we need to treat this the same as we would, the financial services marketplace, and ensuring that the events themselves are secure and free of any type of, collaborations and nefarious activity, that the officials involved in the events are all on the up and up and free of any nefarious activity on their end, that administrators, coaches, trainers, equipment managers aren't using insider information for the intent to profit off sports betting. So there's so many aspects to it, but I think it's really, really important at the end of the day that the consumer knows that when they walk in there and make a trade, aka a bet, on a sporting event, that every aspect of that sporting event is on the up and up.
Hold that thought, and we'll be right back with more House of Cards right after this quick break.
Getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day. If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation.
When I called, they asked me a few questions and matched me with a powerful lawyer who knew how to fight for me.
Call now. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-613-4611, 800-613-4611, 800-613-4611.
Hey, this is Dave Weishadow from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of May 4th, 2020. Caesars Entertainment has sold Bally's Atlantic City Hotel and Casino to Twin River Worldwide. The deal is reportedly worth $25 million, and Caesars will continue to operate Caesars Atlantic City, the Book Sports Betting Facility, as well as the Wild Wild West Casino area. The Twin River Bally's Atlantic City transaction will become final once the regulatory approvals have been given. MGM Resorts stated that it could start taking reservations June 1st for its Las Vegas Strip properties. Other Vegas casinos have stated that they will also be taking reservations beginning in late May or early June. The Nevada Gaming Control Board would have to review and approve plans on any casino property opening in the state. And finally, Caesars Online Casino has gone live in Pennsylvania. Caesars has become the Keystone State's fourth online casino, joining Bet America, Unibet, and Bet Rivers. Caesars Online offers 12 slot games and plans to add table games and video poker soon. So if you're in Pennsylvania, stay home, stay safe, and play some slots. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Where was the house? Where was the House of Cards?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishadow with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the president and founder of U.S. Integrity, Matthew Holt. You know, the fact that sports betting is such a new business in many parts of this country is the reason why I love the fact that you guys teamed up with Ohio University to create a curriculum on sports betting. How did this partnership come about?
Well, I mean, Ohio University runs the most prestigious sports administration master's program in the entire country. And what we found out by working with such prestigious conferences and universities as the Pac-12 and the SEC and the Big 12 was that most of these administrators at these universities had never dealt with sports betting before. No fault of their own. In fact, they were told by the NCAA and everyone involved in collegiate athletics their entire career that not only was sports betting bad, but they should avoid it at every single instance. And if they don't avoid it and get caught up in it in any way, it could mean their eligibility or ability to work in sports betting ever again could be on the line. So most of these people avoided sports betting at all costs throughout their entire career. And suddenly, and I think Bob Bolin, the integrity officer from Penn State, said it wonderfully when we were recording some of the material for the curriculum. He said, you know, my whole thing is, so sports betting's been dumped on your desk. What do you do now? You know, if you're the integrity officer or the, sports governance folks at some of these universities, what do you do? The compliance officer, how do you handle it? You've been told to avoid it forever. Now it's here. It's in your backyard. It's on your desk. It's your job to protect your student athletes, to educate your student athletes, to educate your coaches and trainers and equipment managers and associate coaches, and find out what it means when you're playing at venues that have sports betting. What are the new dangers? What are the risks? What are the mental health aspects we have to deal with student athletes anymore? We saw it with Maceo Teague at Baylor this year, where Baylor gets a huge road win by 8 points on the road, and Maceo Teague, their star guard, struts onto campus the next day thinking he's going to be a hero, but he missed a couple of free throws at the end of the game that would have covered the point spread. And instead of walking on campus the hero the next day, he was walking on campus to getting all kinds of threats made at him and harassed by student athletes who bet on the point spread and lost. And so there's a whole new wave of mental health aspects we need to deal with student athletes. You know, player and referee protection from bettors who are angry that they had lost wagers. There's just so much going on. And what history tells us, really, if we look at all of the scandals over the last 20 to 25 years in sports betting, San Diego University, Toledo, Northwestern, Arizona State, Tim Donahue, in each and every case, the perpetrator was getting such nominal amounts of money, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or less, and in many cases just simply being extorted. Point shaving and match fixing in the United States, what history tells us is these aren't multi-million-dollar schemes put together by the mob or all these other people. A lot of times it's collegiate athletes who get stuck up in a jam, who just need a few $1,000s, or professional athletes or officials that are being extorted into doing things. So we need to use really refined processes to make sure we're catching these people, because again, it's not the multi-million-dollar scam that a lot of people have made it out to be.
Now, what is the goal of the sports betting curriculum? I mean, for students who enroll in the program, what skills will they be able to learn and apply in the sports betting business?
Again, to start off with the sports administrator, he needs to understand what it means to have sports betting thrown on his desk. What does he have to do with student athletes, with his coaches, with his team, with awareness program, with education? So our first and foremost goal is to educate the administrator. Then it's to educate the next wave of administrators. Let's face it, people that are graduating now with a master's degree in sports administration, this next wave of student athletes, they're going to not only have to understand sports betting, but embrace and engage with it. It's going to be an engagement tool that they use for financial and revenue purposes at the universities within a few years. So having a really good understanding of this is going to be important. And then we're trying to, think of the amount of attorneys who are getting involved in the sports betting space one way or another, whether it's through corporate partnerships with other companies or trying to represent operators or new licensees or a new service provider in the industry. Understanding all aspects of the industry is so important and vital to these attorneys, which is why we're trying to make the course CLE certified in most states so that attorneys in these states can use this course to not only get their CLE credits, but get educated in a space that they may not be fully educated before. Because even if they're not touching sports betting now, chances are eventually they will at some point, again, whether it's through some type of media partnership, corporate partnership, in-stadium venue partnership, or whether they're trying to represent a new licensee or service provider in that state. So we're trying to hit the whole gambit of people. There's just not enough education out there. We're talking about an industry that by 1 year from now, we expect to do potentially $200 billion worth of handle and is sports-centric. So there's a lot of people interested in getting into the space, generating revenue in the space. How can I get engaged in the space? But yet there's a real lack of education about the space. So we think this curriculum is going to be real important and kind of hit the entire gambit of people associated with sports betting right out of the gate.
Now, as I said in the introduction, it's a 3-part certification program. What does that entail in order to get a certificate from Ohio University?
So, the first part of it is sort of an intro to sports betting. What are things that you probably need to know, understanding regulations. Then it gets into the second part of it, which is sports administrators and people that have to, deal with it directly right now, and what's important to understand. What are people in the space doing about it right now that never had to deal with it before? And then the third part of their curriculum gets into things like criminal versus civil violations, especially in areas like insider information. In some cases, it's criminal, but you also have to prove intent. In many cases, it's simply a policy violation, helping people understand what the difference is between criminal activities within sports betting and civil and policy issues, which may affect a player's eligibility, but not have committed a criminal act to go to jail. And then this is just course one. We're trying to do advanced courses for operators, regulators, legal folks down the road. So, again, we're just trying to do our part, do our best, partner with the very best people we can to educate the entire marketplace about sports betting regulation, the licensing process, what it means to have to deal with it, how do you use it as an engagement tool, what's the difference between a civil and a criminal act. And we think Ohio University was the perfect partner for us to launch this course with.
Do you see mainly business students, people from the sports world, or people from the software field getting involved in these classes? Because I got to tell you, the way you're describing it, it seems to me that this type of curriculum could draw from people from many different disciplines.
I agree. I think it draws from a really large pool. This isn't a hot tub here. It's an Olympic-sized swimming pool in terms of the amount of people that we expect to draw from here. And to your point, I think it starts with collegiate administrators, both active now and ones that are entering the collegiate sports administration landscape. But I think, because of the CLE certification, it quickly extends to attorneys. And I think, to your point, if anyone who's going to be working in sports betting, and you may not completely understand how you're going to work in sports betting yet, but you may work at Pepsi right now in charge of corporate partnerships, never worked in sports betting ever, but I'm sure Pepsi, as the company, is interested in sports betting because there's going to be corporate partnerships with casinos, venues that offer sports betting teams. So they need to understand it. So at this point, I think the amount of people that actually are affected by sports betting goes so far beyond what people normally think of when they think of who needs education on sports betting.
Now, who's going to be some of the instructors for the sports betting program? And also, will this primarily be done online?
So it's an online course. Go at your own pace. CLE certified. Again, we talked about that. But for the very first course, we have some guest lecturers that include Sarah Slane, the former head of the American Gaming Association, AGA Sports Betting Task Force, Bob Bolin, the integrity officer from Penn State, Mike Hamrick, the athletic director from West Virginia, the commissioner of the MAC conference, the Mid-American Conference. Myself, I'm speaking on there. Carl Benison, the former Chief Enforcement Officer for the Nevada Gaming Control Board, does some great job lecturing and adding content. So I think we have a really good cast of speakers here to hit from the regulatory standpoint, the sports administration standpoint, the head athletic director or commissioner of a conference standpoint, the sports betting expert who actually worked in and ran a regulated sports book for a decade. So I think we have a great mix for kind of this first 3-course curriculum. And then as we continue to grow, we hope to continue to offer the best, the brightest, and the most applicable guest lecturers that we can add.
Now, how can people enroll in this program if they're interested? And does the program have a start date, or can they get involved at any point in the year?
Sure. So you can go to our website at www.usintegrity.com, and you'll find a link to get more information on the Ohio, the SGE curriculum, which hasn't launched yet. We expect it to launch in early May sometime. Our original plan was to launch this curriculum in conjunction with the NACDA conference, which is the big collegiate compliance director conference, which was going to be held in Las Vegas in mid-June this year. Like so many conferences, that conference got canceled due to Corona, and with with so much demand for education now, we decided to push that June launch up and launch in mid-May instead. But if you go to www.usintegrity.com, you can click on the link, go to SGE, sign up for the newsletter, get all the information you need about signing up, and when the curriculum will actually launch here in 3 to 4 weeks.
Hold that thought, and we'll be right back with more House of Cards right after this quick break.
Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
We like to think that we live in a nice, safe neighborhood. The truth is that a burglary occurs every 13 seconds, and homes without a security system have a 300% greater chance of getting broken into. How many homes in your neighborhood were robbed yesterday? You need to start protecting your home and family today. Call now to get state-of-the-art protection. To keep your family and property safe, call the number on your screen now. Representatives are standing by to assist you.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
Whoa! I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah, there's a show. Hey, it's all about ratings, baby, and we got them.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with the president and founder of U.S. Integrity, Matthew Holt. Matthew, we're running out of time, but I want to ask you about the current situation with the coronavirus and the impact on the sports betting industry. From your discussions with people in the industry, what are the sportsbooks doing now to somehow minimize the present loss of business?
Well, really tough times for so many of them. I mean, that's a difficult question. We're seeing so many employees furloughed. Some of these states, like I know Colorado has given an opportunity for a lot of these operators to continue working, and they're trying to get licensing and other regulatory instances, integrations done with integrity providers like us so that when sports betting does really resume on a normal basis, they're ahead of the curve and they've taken care of all this administrative work that comes along with sports betting in a regulated landscape. But I could tell you it has had a huge impact. I mean, just think of everybody's revenue, including ours, which has almost gone down to zero. Most of these sportsbook operators are operating on a zero revenue basis right now as well. And they're doing as best they can to keep as many employees as they can, get as much administrative and licensing work done as they can. And we just try to help them as much as we can right now. But the impact sure will be felt. And I could say that when sports return to normalcy, unfortunately, we probably won't see 100% return in terms of rehiring of all employees. It's because of the effect Corona's had has just been so impactful. And, we just say our prayers for them every day, try to help them as much as we can, but I don't think anybody has been as impacted as negatively from a revenue basis, certainly as the gaming industry has throughout the entire Corona pandemic thus far.
In the coming months, what do you see the sports betting business looking like? I mean, what are the lasting effects of this pandemic? Do you think we'll see more mobile sports betting, especially from states who as until now has not allowed mobile sports betting? What do you think that landscape will look like in the future?
I absolutely think that we're going to see more mobile sports betting, and I think that you're going to see states that didn't offer mobile sports betting prior considering it at this point. I mean, we're probably going to see some level of sports without crowds initially, so I think the casino sports books sort of have to be the same thing. You can't have these long lines of people standing next to each other in a casino sports book. I think you're going to see more casinos take advantage of kiosks that they can spread spread around throughout the sports book area so that people aren't as congested into one area. That's helpful. And I think you're going to see more and more states and more sports book operators trying to offer mobile sports betting solutions. For a lot of reasons anyway. I mean, let's face it, the mobile solutions cost the operators a lot less than the brick and mortars do to run. And now that we know that they're also a lot safer and healthier, I think you're going to see a lot of states open up their regulations surrounding mobile sports betting, and thus the amount of operators offering it will increase. And one good news that we're starting to really see in the mobile sports betting space is the technology is getting really good, really quick. A lot of these people have spent a lot of money, a lot of time really upgrading the technology, and the consumer experience when it comes to mobile sports betting is as good as it's ever been in the U.S. and only getting better every single day.
Matt, before I let you go, can you give out the website for U.S. Integrity so people can come and keep up to date about what you're doing, and also give the website again where people can register for the Sports Gambling Education Certificate Program you're running with Ohio University?
Sure. So it's www.usintegrity.com is the website. There's a link on our website that you can click on that'll take you to the SGE launch, which will kind of help you learn a little bit more about the SGE program, how you can sign up, when it's going to launch. Get all the news there. And look, if you want to get some great monitoring of the NFL draft props and what sports books are offering what props and how are the odds moving. We actually have opened up our dashboards for the first time to the general public, only to be able to see odds and monitoring on the NFL draft props. If you go to www.usidashboard.com, you can look at all the different NFL draft props, what the different books are offering, and how the odds are moving.
Matthew Holt, president and founder of U.S. Integrity, thank you for coming on and telling us all about the great work U.S. Integrity is doing and your partnership with Ohio University and their sports gambling education curriculum. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.
You too. And that's all the time we have this week for House of Cards. See you next week.
Wild country in your head.